All right, a recent rash of airline safety incidents has many pointing to the FAA and the airline industry's obsession with DEI rather than safety as a major contributing factor. Well, about 36 members of Congress are trying to get ahead of the downward DEI curve as it pertains to health care by introducing legislation to stop the spread of the DEI virus in America's medical schools. Joining me now to discuss this and more, Congressman Greg Murphy, author of the bill. Dr. Murphy serves on 3 House committees, including the Ways and Means Committee, which is overseeing a lot of activity right now in Congress. He's been in several hearings today, and I appreciate him stepping out to talk with us. He represents the 3rd Congressional District of North Carolina. Dr. Murphy, welcome back to Washington Watch.
Hey, Tony. Hope you're doing well. Thanks to you for having me.
Absolutely. So let's talk about DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and your concerns about how that is infecting America's medical schools.
Yeah, you know, Tony, I think diversity can be a very strengthening thing. People learn from one another of experiences that perhaps they don't have. But the thing that we can't do in medical schools is lower our standards of merit, lower our standards of excellence. Why? You know, as I said yesterday, this is not art school. This is not English school, not history school. This is medical school. This is where people's lives are at risk. I think really the relationship that's strongest is the maternal bond, but physician-patient is right up there, and the trust and the abidement in both of those relationships. And the fact now that our medical schools are making their students sign DEI pledges, and they're pushing out activists, not advocates, is very, very troubling. And we're seeing this already in the decrease in quality of some of our students, and the fact that they're burned out 5 years after their residency rather than 25 years. And I think it's time to put a shot across the bow. This cannot happen. We cannot be taken over in a world of objective science by liberal arts progressive ideas.
I mean, it has real life consequences, and they can be deadly. So let's talk today about today's Ways and Means Committee hearing with Secretary Xavier Becerra. As Ways and Means Committee Chair Jason Smith noted in his opening statement today, and I quote, "Words like diversity, discrimination, racial justice, and gender all appear in the administration's budget far more than the border. Fentanyl, the #1 killer of Americans ages 18 to 45, is only mentioned once in a footnote."
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
Equity was mentioned 77 times, and fentanyl was mentioned once. This is the whole, I actually said this just a few minutes ago to Secretary Becerra, it's the tone deafness of this administration, absolute tone deaf. They've opened up our border to be invaded, in North Carolina, up in Gates County 2 weeks ago, an illegal immigrant was shooting people, and he was found to be a terrorist on the terrorist watch list, found with guns. He was found the Quran. He was found with Arabic military information. And you know what are they doing? They're absolutely contributing to the downfall, the spiraling of this great nation. And, Becerra just, smiles with his arrogant smile, and it's just tone deafness, Tony. It's absolutely tone deaf to the problems that face this nation.
Dr. Murphy, I have to ask this question because I know this is what's on a lot of people's minds. I hear it all the time. Why? How can they be so blind to the impact that the policies that they're pushing have upon this nation? Is it intentional, or are they that? I don't want to say. Well, they got to see it. They cannot ignore the consequences.
I'll say incompetent. I'll say it, Tony. I'll say it. They're incompetent. And the other thing is, I'm not one. Maybe it's my surgical attitude. I demand competence. I demand excellence.
Yeah.
Patients.
Well, if you were my doctor, I would want that. That's what I want out of my doctor. That's what I want out. Actually, that's what I want out of every place I go. I want the best. And if I want the opportunity to have the best. I don't want to lecture on, the various aspects of society, which is what's happening in our medical schools today.
Well, we're lowering the bar of excellence. Look, I want a diverse class, but I'm not willing for us to sacrifice what the merit bar is to just basically have a nice, better pie puzzle.
But can't we have both?
I think those.
Can't we have both?
Yeah, we can have both. We can have both. But absolutely, I think it would be great to have both. But we can't let people. I remember. I won't give anecdotes, but gosh, think if you're going to have heart surgery the next day, somebody's going to be splitting your chest open. Your life is in their hands. Who do you want doing that? Who do you want doing that? Do you want somebody who may be mean, but he's the best in the world? Or do you want somebody who got in because of identity politics?
Yeah, I want the best. I want the best.
I don't understand it. And we go back to the border, Tony. The only thing I can think of is they want to overrun some states. Illegals now are counted in the numbers for members of Congress and representative numbers to overrun states, to flood them up to get more Democratic members of Congress. Certain states want their illegal folks to vote in elections.
Yeah.
My God, what are we becoming as a country?
I want to go back very quickly, Congressman, before we run out of time, a biblical parallel to what you're talking about, professionalism, having the best. Jethro's father, Moses' father-in-law, when he went to him to talk about the leaders, he said, able men who fear God. And that's even what I look for in elected leaders. I want Christians, but I want able Christians. I want men and women who know what they're doing. Character matters, but so does competence.
Absolutely. And, Tony, if we let folks in just merely because of the amount of melanin in their skin or what their identity politics is, it pollutes those who have the same, whatever skin color or identity politics they have, who are excellent.
Right.
And we're lowering the bar. And, Ben Carson, I've had several discussions with him about
great
this.
Guy.
He absolutely agrees.
Yeah.
Absolutely agrees.
We can have both. We can have the diversity and we can have excellence. I appreciate you pursuing that and keeping those issues at the forefront, even at great political risk, because some will take and distort it. Congressman Murphy, thanks so much for joining us today. Great to talk with you.
All right. Thank you so much. God bless.